north and one for south. So you can pick whether you want to go to McDonald's North or go to McDonald's South. We'll need to figure out somehow how to get the vests going. What I'll probably do is just, actually, I have no idea how I'm going to do that yet. Getting a vest back and forth to folks, because we've got 6 of these available. So
the vests are nice and bright. Got 6 of them.
Okay.
So they're usable. We'll use them there, and I'm sure we'll use them at other things down the road. But
yep.
Yeah, let's get that. Caleb, if you would, why don't you put out a email to everybody to let them know to sign up?
Yep, I'll send that here as soon as we're done today.
Unless you did it today or something, I haven't seen anything. Just tell them to sign up on Portal Buzz.
And just know, I think my time frame may be like on Indonesian time or something, because I'm putting it 8:30 to 10:30 our time. So just know that if you sign up and it says some weird time, it's 8:30 to 10:30 at those locations. That's essentially during manageable breakfast hours at both locations. So
your
don't necessarily follow the Portal Buzz times.
Your time is off in Portal Buzz?
Probably, yes.
Karen, can you get that changed for them?
I have tried to even change my own, and I can't get my own changed, but I'll go back in today and mess around and see if I can get us both fixed up.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. But either way, if you do sign up, just know that you're not signing up for the time on Portal Buzz if it's a weird one. If it says 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., great. Otherwise, just show up then, and we'll go from there. So,
and I
keep selling tickets and
10:30 all week long, or just on the weekends?
10:30 all week long. He said breakfast hours on Saturday is until 11, but I'm just going to go ahead and say 10:30 just to make it simple for everybody.
Are they furnishing all the food for it?
Are they what?
Furnishing all the materials for it, so every ticket we sell is all profit?
Yep. So pretty much
no.
They're giving them to us at cost. I think they've got a couple of their things like some of the pancake batter and things like that they're covering. I think we're at anywhere between a $2 and $2.50 cost. So we're going to be getting $3.50 to $4 per ticket sold. We're up to almost 7,000 in sponsorships as well too. So hopefully this will be our biggest year. You know, we've been growing for a while, and we'll do a survey certainly afterward to see if people like this or if they want to go back to the old way. From some of the comments I've heard, I have heard a lot of people wishing we were doing it the other way. So we'll just have to see what we what we really come up with here in the end. So,
Caleb, has Paul said anything about the possibility of their dining room being open next week?
I have not checked, but I know when I dropped off flyers last week, they still were not open. So now I know they're talking about, there's rumor of lifting the mask mandate in Indiana in April, early April. I don't know if he's going to even look at anything like that, but my guess is he's probably going to keep things closed. So,
along with the vests, I do have some cans that will have a K on it for people to just put in donations.
Yep.
So we can use that too when we're selling tickets next week.
Yep. I mean, my plan is to be here at the branch each day. I should not have an issue. So my guess, the simplest way to be able to get the vests would be whoever starts out on Monday, we'll get those to you before Monday, and then just drop them off here at Chase. And then the person that's doing it Tuesday, pick them up at Chase sometime after 10:30, and just do that all week. So go from there.
Good.
So for now, we'll just say that's going to be the way to go.
Good.
Right.
Okay. Anything else about Pancake Week? It sounds
nothing
like
I can think of. You will see some signs popping up out there too. Those are hopefully printed off today. She adjusted some of my some of my designs, and they look really good. So if anybody needs plastic signs, Phantom Neon is doing a really good job for us. So
cool. Good. Good. It sounds like we're really doing good with Pancake Week. And, it's something we had to struggle with to try to get through this year, but at least we're getting this going. So appreciate everybody in selling the tickets and keep it going. Caleb, will we be able to get some of those extra tickets that are at the Visitors Bureau? Can you have them available? So that's what we can be selling on those days?
Yep, because since there hasn't been a ton there, we'll have plenty left. Yep, I'll pick those up tomorrow and then make sure we get them to folks before Monday. Yep.
Good. And remember that people that don't use them, they buy them and don't use them, we end up getting the whole $6.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that goes on. So, we get $3.50 a piece, basically, if we get charged $2.50, we get $3.50 a piece on these, and we sell 1,000 tickets. That's 3,500.
Yep.
So that's good. And along with the sponsorships that we have, we should be doing very, very good. Did you get a response from Chase yet?
I'm checked today because they met on the 22nd, so they should have an answer for me now.
Okay, good.
Hey, Gary, I got something to say. I noticed this week that I was talking to somebody sitting there at McDonald's, or they had a McDonald's sandwich or whatever. And there was a flyer in there about our Kiwanis Pancake Day in there. I thought that was really nice.
Yep. Well, I'm glad they still, that means they still have some then. I was thinking they might have run out of those pretty early. So good. If you're still seeing it this week, good.
We're out at the hardware store, Caleb. Are there any more of those available?
I gave you all the ones that we had for that one. Yep. We could probably get some more ordered. They've got the thing. If you want me to, I can. That way, we've got some still going out next week too. Yeah. It was pretty cheap, so I can do that for sure.
Yeah. Good. Okay, appreciate it all. Let's keep that going. Any other activities? I know April 16th, a little bit of ways. Mac asked this morning about when he gets another opportunity to help unload the truck at the food at the Youth Service Bureau, and so that's April 16th, and April 19th we'll be packing backpacks. So I really appreciate everything that's being done in trying to keep that activity going. It seems like every month we ask for people, we get people, and end up doing a great job in helping the Youth Service Bureau and the NERS program in keeping that thing going. So let's keep it up. Thank you. Karen, did you want to say something?
I did. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we have about 2,500 pinwheels and yard signs to go with them to put out. So if anybody wants to stop by and pick up pinwheels for a business or your home or wherever, and a sign as well, we really want it to be noticeable in Montgomery County. We have a significant substance abuse problem amongst our adults that really impacts our kids. Our average child abuse rate is 28 out of every 1,000. The state average is only 18. And that includes Lake County, Marion County, Allen County, the big urban counties. So we have a very serious problem. And I think the more we have awareness out there, that people pay attention and understand, hopefully the more reports, and hopefully the more we can support families and prevent further abuse from happening.
Good.
So all you have to do is stop by and tell us how many pinwheels and how many signs you want.
Cool. I'll stop by later on this afternoon. I've got a bunch of stuff for you too for Builders Club.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to comment on? Okay, birthdays this week. looking back in history, 1892, Andy Clyde. Anybody remember who he was? I didn't know the name until I saw what he did. He was on Lassie and the Real McCoys. Karen, that's way before your time. Karen Heisel.
I know Lassie. That's all. That's all I can tell you.
He was on. He played Cully on Lassie, and George McMichael in the Real McCoys. So that was cool. 1911 was Jack Ruby. I think everybody remembers who he was. Yeah, the assassin who killed Lee Harvey Oswald. 1918 was Howard Cosell, born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 1937, Tom Monahan, the founder of Domino's Pizza. 1942, Aretha Franklin, and 1947 was Elton John. So a lot of big birthdays on today. Kiwanian birthdays this week. The 27th, this Saturday, is Hubert Danzenbrink. So if you get a chance, give him a call and wish him a happy birthday. Happy Bucks. This is, let's see, this is the last one for March, right? So this is the last one for Riley Hospital, right, Sharon? So anybody have anything for any Happy Bucks for Riley? I'll throw in another 10 for Riley and keep up the challenge.
I'll put in 10 for Riley, and happy that I was able to get my second COVID shot on Tuesday with no ill effects other than the fact that I slept 12 solid hours. But other than that, no ill effects.
Nothing wrong with that. Anybody else? Okay, well, thanks a lot. This day in history, and this is really important, especially with what we've got going on starting next Monday. 1882, it was the first demonstration of pancake making held at a department store in New York City. So I thought that was pretty cool considering we got Pancake Days coming up. 1900, the U.S. Socialist Party formed in Indianapolis. I didn't realize that. In 1934, Mac and Bud and all you golfers, the first Augusta National Invitation Tournament, which became the Masters, was held on this day in 1934. Horton Smith won with a 20-foot birdie putt at the 17th hole. In 1950,
Bobby Jones course.
yeah, okay, cool. 1954, RCA manufactured the first color TV set. Jerry, RCA. It was a 12.5-inch screen. 1954. What do you think it cost back then?
I have no idea. The chief engineer on that project actually lived next to me when I was a kid.
Really? Wow. The price of that TV in 1954, and this is like $1 million today or something, was $1,000.
Wow.
For a 12.5-inch screen. Amazing.
And it was round.
Pardon me?
And the tube was round.
Yeah. Yeah. And it had tubes, which today I don't see, there are no TVs that have tubes anymore, I don't think. And in 2017 on this day, I wish I was in Australia then, the largest banana split ever at 8,040 meters long is made in Innisfail, Australia. That's a big banana split. Maybe we could have a contest like that. Caleb, we could do that, huh?
There you go.
Where would you find a banana that big?
Banana split. That'd be cool. National days. Today's the International Waffle Day and the National Medal of Honor Day. That was on TV this morning too. I saw that National Medal of Honor Day. So Jim, we've got a special speaker today. So you want to tell us about Lindi and I'll put everybody on mute. So Lindy and Jim, you'll have to take yourselves off of mute to speak. So we can do this. And Lindy, you've been put on as co-host, so you can
There we go.
screen too.
Yes, for my last program of March, we have Lindi Kocher from Indiana Farm Bureau Incorporated. She's the education coordinator. And in that position, she oversees the Indiana Farm Bureau Ag in the Classroom program and provides training and resources for both volunteers and professional educators. Lindi joined Indiana Farm Bureau in 2019. Prior to that, she was a high school ag teacher in Clinton Central and was self-employed as an education consultant. She's a native of Illinois and got her bachelor's and education degree from University of Illinois, some college other than Purdue. And she also acquired her teaching certificate and later received her master's also in ag education from Illinois. She grew up on a diverse farm. Her and her husband Scott now live near Kirkland, Indiana, and I asked Larry if he knew her, and she said, I don't get out of the house. But they have 2 children and raise show rabbits, pigs, and steers as 4-H projects. And her outside interests include sitting in bleachers, watching livestock shows, baseball and softball games. She coaches girls basketball at Clinton Central Elementary. And she's treasurer of the Kirkland Home Arts Club and a member of Clinton Central Education Foundation Board. And I give you Lindi Kocher.
Thank you, Jim. It's very nice to be here. It is National Ag Week. We'll learn here later in the program, the official National Ag Day was on the 23rd on Tuesday. I am originally from Illinois and my heart was broken this last weekend, and I apologize to all of your bracket busters. But it was a pretty sad day, but I wore my orange proud and I will continue. That is my home, and I grew up on a very large family farm, and proud of my brothers for remaining with my dad and they farm. But my roots have always been tied to agriculture. My heart has always been in the classroom, and taught several students over the many years of being a teacher. But my role with the Indiana Farm Bureau is serving as their education coordinator, and I oversee the Ag in the Classroom program for the state of Indiana. The Agriculture in the Classroom program is a national program. I was actually on a meeting this morning with our Midwest states as we covered agriculture in the classroom programs in Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Nebraska. So it was a really fun meeting this morning, and continuing to educate our students K through 12. One of the pieces I wanted to make sure that we're founded on here as we get started is that I do represent Indiana Farm Bureau Incorporated, the incorporated part of Indiana Farm Bureau. Our mission statement is that we promote agriculture through public education, member engagement by advocating for agricultural and rural needs. Many of our programs are really geared towards education, but if any of you have been actively involved in Farm Bureau over the years or have seen Farm Bureau, policy is another big component of the Farm Bureau family. There are times that I tap my toes in there, but for the most part, my education is where I gear a lot of my energy to either develop curriculum and activities for students so that our volunteers can go into classrooms and make those presentations. So today we're going to dive into a publication that can be found on our website. This publication was just recently released, and it is called the Indiana Ag Mag. And I just kind of felt like it would really encompass a lot about Indiana agriculture. You can actually access this magazine. It's an 8-page spread. It's an interactive magazine on our website. So if we take a trip across Indiana, a couple of things I wanted to highlight for many of you that may have been tied to agriculture through your life is that in Indiana, there is approximately about 56,000 farming operations. Currently in our today's world, our average farm size in Indiana is 264 acres. Indiana is home to many agribusinesses as well as many diversified farms. So if we started up in the Lake County area, we actually find a lot of mint farms, and that Indiana ranks 4th in mint and spearmint oil production. Again, so a lot of your mint products that maybe you might use on an everyday basis, the mint is actually probably started here in Indiana. So think about gum, think about mint that you find in some of your chocolates. A lot of those pieces is oriented here in some of our larger farms in the northwest corner. Then we go over to a little bit over to the east. We find a lot of dairy. We actually have dairy across the state, but some of our larger dairy farms are up in the northern part of Indiana. We also have I don't know if any of you have ever traveled to Fair Oaks. It's a very interesting and very special piece to Indiana for people to visit. A lot of robots that are involved in dairy production today. Another important piece to know is that Indiana ranks 2nd in ice cream production. So again, we produce a lot of ice cream in Indiana. As we travel a little bit south, we see some tomatoes, and that is thanks to a business called Red Gold. And Indiana is ranked 2nd in the nation in growing tomatoes for processing. So as you, if any of you've ever looked at like USDA facts and those types of things, it can be broken down into several different categories. So we may not raise all the tomatoes, like we can't compete with California, but what we do raise is we're the 2nd in the nation in raising tomatoes that are used for processing. And of course that is generated there at Red Gold. Also not too far away, there are some Christmas tree farms in your guys' neck of the woods. And so we felt like Christmas Tree Farms also has a pretty good establishment here in Indiana. In the middle, we have popcorn, and that popcorn, many of us probably enjoy that. It's one of America's favorite snacks. Popcorn is raised all across the state of Indiana. And I also came across an interesting fact as I was learning about Indiana, as I've lived here for about 5 years now, is that there is a little town in Indiana called Popcorn. Pretty interesting in that Indiana ranks 2nd in the nation in popcorn production. As we move a little farther south, we see a highlighted of hardwoods, and that the Indiana hardwoods industry supports over 70,000 jobs in Indiana. So another important aspect of Indiana agriculture. As I move on to my next slide, we're going to just kind of tap into some of our leading commodities and what they have to offer. So the very first one is corn. Now, typically corn and soybeans always kind of like battle out for the top spot for Indiana commodity. But as I was preparing this publication in 2020, corn was the #1 commodity in Indiana. And that corn can actually be found in over 4,000 products that we use every day. I want you to think about not just the food that we put in our mouths, but the soap and the shampoos and conditioners, makeup, paint, a lot of different products that have corn in them that we may not think of on a day-to-day basis. Another leading commodity in Indiana is going to be pork. And as we see pork, Indiana was 9th in the nation in 2018, producing 4.2 million pigs. We also know that there are over 500 different types of non-food products that pork is used, including medicine, cement, coloring crayons, putty, plastics, chalk, and glue. So again, there's a lot of times that raising pigs myself and being a teacher, I would always tell the students that the pig is used, everything except for the oink. All right, so another leading commodity in Indiana is poultry. And I find it very interesting as I have been able to visit with many of the people at Maple Leaf Farms for duck production. Did you know that Indiana is #1 in the nation in duck production? And this duck that we have on the screen here is called a white Pekin duck. And the white Pekin duck feathers are used in many different products, but most commonly it's used in pillows. So the white Pekin duck is also known for their tender meat. Indiana also ranks #2 in the nation in total eggs produced. And I'm sure that some of you have heard of the company before of Rose Acres. So that is also a really big component to Indiana agriculture. The last leading commodity that I'll share a little bit with you is soybeans. Indiana soybeans are the second largest crop, just as I mentioned previous. Their #1 competitor is corn. Soybeans are found in many products, just like we talked about with corn. Some of the times that we don't think about, not just the ink or the oil, but what we see soybeans being used for is either paints. Many of the times when you open up a magazine, you may not realize that the ink of that magazine is from soybeans. So it's a small bean with a big impact. Another important piece that I wanted to be sure to share with you is a little bit about farmers markets in Indiana. So farmers markets have actually taken a really big uptick. And that is another, I think, kind of a fun piece to our communities. So as we dip into like the benefits of those farmers markets, and what we find is that consumers really foresee that these farmers markets provide food that is fresh, food that is affordable, they support the local economy, and they support these local family farms. So Indiana, we have almost 200 farmers markets located all around the state. And the number of these Indiana farm markets available to consumers has doubled since 2009, which again, it allows for us to get our product to the consumers in a very faster way. And the other important piece is specialty crops. So on the state here, I've made a couple of comments on where we rank in some of our specialty crops and how we define a specialty crop. It can be a fruit, a vegetable, a tree nut, horticulture, floriculture, a nursery crop that is grown for food, medicine, and to provide beauty. So when we think about specialty crops, some of our leading non-traditional crops would be pumpkins. We're third in the nation in raising pumpkins. Cantaloupes, which cantaloupes and watermelons are such a huge part of the agriculture in like the, I want to say Terre Haute, Vincennes area. Just a lot of great melon farms that are down in that area. We're 5th in the nation in cantaloupe. And then overall in tomatoes, like I talked about earlier, we're 9th. But again, remember for processing, we're 2nd. And then blueberries, we actually kind of get a little bit close to the top 10, but we're 12th. And then choose your plate, which is another important piece to USDA and agriculture, is making sure we have a balanced diet. Now, one of the fun pieces to my job is I actually do get to go to a lot of different classrooms. And this is one of the fun games that we play with the students and learning about the journey of dairy. So because dairy is such a good component to Indiana agriculture, I thought I would share with you some of the most interesting facts to the journey of dairy. So the dairy cow will eat about 100 pounds of feed each day. A dairy cow will also drink about 30 to 50 gallons of water. That's about a bathtub full. 98% of the dairy farms in Indiana are family owned, and that Indiana has an estimated about 184,000 dairy cows, and we rank 15th in the nation in milk production. So as the dairy cow travels on this game, we learn that not only do farmers are going to then use machines and robots to milk their cows, but also that one dairy cow can produce 7 to 9 gallons of milk a day. That's about 120 glasses. And that as it only takes about 48 hours from leaving the farm for the milk to arrive to the grocery store. So pretty quick. And again, it's just a really fun game for the students to play. So the other important piece of why I was, I guess, asked to be your speaker is that it is around the country National Ag Day. And on social media, if you follow any of, maybe you follow Indiana Farm Bureau, or maybe you follow some other publications, but hopefully you've been able to see some National Ag Week posts. So National Ag Day is officially on March 23rd this year, which was on Tuesday. Some of our volunteers and some of the FFA chapters were able to put together some activities to promote agriculture. The theme for the National Ag Day is food brings everyone to the table. And who puts this on? It is called the Agriculture Council of America. It's an organization that is uniquely composed of leaders from across the agriculture industry of our country. And this National Ag Day has been a component to this organization since 1973. So a good establishment of celebrating agriculture. And with that, I thought I would share with you a couple of very important pieces that you can always go to learn more to National Ag Day website. This is agday.org. There is an essay contest. You can read the essay winner. It's $1,000 competition for students. They also have some videos that they promote. Again, it's just a really fun piece. The other item, and they do have a blog. So if you are interested in learning about agriculture across the country, these are some really great articles to be able to read. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to take them. But again, thank you for inviting me, and hopefully I was able to share with you a little bit about Indiana agriculture and National Ag Day.
Thank you, Lindy. I appreciate it. Very interesting. And this is coming from the boy from Chicago who, you know, didn't know what a farm was. Although Chicago did have one farm in education, it's still running. In fact, I was by there a few weeks ago, that they have a farm in the city of Chicago. So can you take yourself off of sharing now? There we go. Okay. Any questions for Lindy? I thought that was very, very interesting. You know, I usually relied on Morris and some of the other farmers here to tell me what all that stuff was in the field. But glad to see you here, and you can tell us a little bit more about it. So appreciate that. Anybody else? Any questions?
Lindy, I had a question. When you're in the classroom, what is the question or couple of questions that you get asked the most?
Well, that's very interesting. So the last time I was in a classroom, actual live and in person, sometimes I'm virtual just because of the nature of the beast right now. But I can definitely share with you one of the questions that sticks out in my mind. I was at George Washington High School in Indianapolis, November of 2019. And one of the questions that was to me from a high school student was, how are hot dogs made? And so as I did have a part-time job when I was in college at a family meat locker, and my husband worked for Cargill Meat Solutions for about 18 years. So let me just share with you that that child learned a lot about the meat industry and the exact components and process of how it takes to get a hot dog made. But again, some of the questions can be very, very off topic. One of the questions from a teacher in some of my urban classroom visits has been about food deserts. And from an educator standpoint, they're concerned about, you know, the access of food for their students, especially in Indianapolis and in some of those neighborhoods. I guess my suggestion, I mean, and how I answer it is you know, you can raise your own food. I mean, you can have a garden, you can put together a greenhouse, you know, just again, encouraging them that just a little bit of knowledge can go a long way, and that food deserts are not just present in Indianapolis. It's becoming a problem in some of our other smaller communities.
Who else?
Well, just an observation that around here, we noticed there was more gardens put out this year than in a long time, maybe back all the way back to Victory Gardens.
Well, Jim, that's a very valid point. And some of the seed companies, as I've been also trying to just keep track of, because I enjoy gardening as well, is there was some rumor back in the fall that some seeds were going to be tough to get, but I haven't discovered that. And I have personally seen more gardens start at schools, and it's been fantastic. There is one school I'll share with you that I work closely with. It's down in Washington County. It's East Washington Elementary. They started a pumpkin patch a couple of years ago. The school had about half an acre, and they allowed for the teachers to start. They planted pumpkins and popcorn. And the students actually go out and they plant the popcorn in the rows, and then they take care of them. And then at the end, because you're really not there during the summer, but they come back in the fall, and the popcorn plants, the corn is ready to be harvested. The students go out, they help harvest it, they shuck it, and then they pop it in the classroom. And I guess it's just a really great example for the students to be able to learn all of those different pieces. So.
Very interesting. Anybody else?
My wife is Morris. My wife used to give a lot of farm tours when we lived in Marion County. And one of the times she had a bunch of, I think, mixed audience, and she was out in the dry cow lot, and this teacher asked her what happens if you, well, she told him if the cow doesn't give so much milk, we sell them. And the teacher said, well, where do you sell them? She said, we sell them to the stockyards. They become Burger Chef hamburgers. There's a little black girl and she thought she was going to turn white.
Jeez.
Yeah, sometimes, Morris, having those conversations with students that are so far removed from the farm, there are so many times that I've been in the classrooms where students are 4 or 5 generations removed from the farm. Therefore, if you think about it, they don't have a grandparent to be able to tell them a story. They've actually never met anybody in their family that's been involved in agriculture. So it's very difficult for them to understand that. So my stories are my answers about the actual process of animal agriculture can be a pretty delicate answer.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions when I came down here, and that's when we met in person. It was great because I could talk to somebody and say, hey, you know, tell me about this. And Morris always sat at my table, so I always bothered Morris to ask him about all of that. I still want to ride in one of those big machines and see that stuff yet. So that's what my goal is.
Well, you have to come out and ride with my granddaughter. She's going to run them this fall.
There you go. There you go. Anybody else? Well, thanks so much, Lindy. I appreciate you being here and telling us about all of this. It is interesting to learn, like you said, the only thing not used in the pig is the oink. And we've got to find a way to use that now, right? So.
Well, I really appreciate the invitation. I've always been passionate about agriculture education and making sure that our next generation understands and appreciates where their food comes from. So in my role with Indiana Farm Bureau in agriculture in the classroom, we're always looking for great volunteers who are willing to share their story. So again, thank you for the invitation, and I wish you all the very best and a happy spring.
Thank you, Lindy.
Thank you.
And Lindy did put her email address in the chat box if you'd like to contact Lindy. It's right there in the chat box. You can copy it down and use that if you want to talk to her about anything and get some more information. And I'm sure this non-farm boy will be contacting you. So thank you. Our next meeting will be April Fool's Day, April 1st. And our speaker will be Karen Theta. I asked Byron to get a speaker for us, and he came up with his wife. I don't know how the heck he talked her into it, but he did. So Karen's going to be talking to us. Byron, what's she going to be talking about?
Let me see. I've got to think here in a minute. Oh, she's going to be talking about the thrift shop that we have right here in town on West Market Street.
Good. So it'll be interesting to hear about that. So, and what she does there, it was quite a bit. Positive thought of the day. A problem is a chance for you to do your best. Duke Ellington. So, and some of us remember him. So we don't have a problem, but we do have a chance to do our best this week at Pancake Week. So let's make sure we get out there, we sell the rest of the tickets and get all that money into Karen. And let's make sure we sign up on Portal Buzz to work at the McDonald's, just selling tickets and collecting donations. We won't be making pancakes, not this year. So thank you all very much, and you all have a good week. Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.